Welcome back to RobsCamino, and this week we have the pleasure of talking once again to Ivar Rekve. I have to be very careful with the name.
And you can just say Ivar. People know me as Ivar, not the
If you don't know Ivar, he runs a fantastic online community forum all about the Camino. And I reckon, given he's got 80,000 members on that forum, he probably knows a fair bit about the forum. So we're going to ask him a few questions about that this week. Ivar, you made a confession to me just when we came online. Are we going to share that confession with everybody watching? How many times have you walked the Camino?
I haven't walked it.
Why?
No, the thing is, like, I moved to Santiago in 2004 because we lived in the US, my wife and I we moved back here, and she's from here.
Yeah.
And I started my life in Santiago without knowing Spanish. I was learning Spanish, and so I moved to Santiago without knowing anything about the Camino. And then I started the forum, and this got busy, and I never had time to actually walk it.
Will you ever walk it, do you think?
I think so. I have a 3-year-old now, and I'm thinking, maybe I will do it one day. And especially now, since I've been very busy the last few years running a luggage storage that I'm thinking of stopping the service, which means I have more time that I can actually do things and get out. Because with the luggage storage,
you could take your son up to Sarria and just walk from there, couldn't you? At least
exactly.
Give him that experience. Yeah. But even though you haven't walked a Camino, which I was very surprised to hear, you probably know more about the Camino than almost anyone on earth, because you have this forum with 80,000 members on it, and you've been running it for 16 years, and you're seeing all of these discussions and so on. So I reckon you're the ideal person to ask, what do you think draws people to the Camino?
Oh, I think there's probably a different reason for every person walking, but you could group them together somehow. It would be probably some people are doing it for religious reasons, I think. They want to honor someone, or they have promised someone that they will walk. So they walk, and then some people, just being from Norway and then Northern Europeans, they like to hike a lot in the mountains. So I think maybe some people just see it as a hike, and some people, I guess, see it as the young ones maybe see it as a way of having a good time, spending a few weeks together in Spain for little money. It's economical. So there's so many different reasons. I don't know if I could.
It is very different. Do you think the locals walk it for slightly different reasons, the local Spanish people?
I think there's more religious reasons in Spain. That's my general feeling, without having surveyed anyone. But there's more. I promised my wife that I'll do it if our son came, past this illness that he's passing, or someone, or my mother was ill and then she got well, and I promised that if she got well, I would walk it. Things like that. That's very normal.
And I often wonder, we picked this up on the forum with all the wonderful people on there, but whatever reason that people maybe start out on the journey, I'm sure a lot of them kind of are thinking spiritual and religious things by the end of it.
I hear that a lot, especially from people that starting the Camino as a hike. Then they arrive in Santiago, they realize, maybe there's, they're more spiritual, maybe not religious, but at least spiritual.
Because it's very hard to walk it, I think, and not, be exposed to, the 1,000 years of history of Christian pilgrims walking it, and the beautiful churches, and it's very hard for some of that not to rub off on you.
And just entering, if you're not very very religious, but just entering the cathedral in Santiago and just standing there and just looking around, it's such an amazing building that I can understand people becoming spiritual or religious just by entering into the...
I think so. And the fact that there's almost this energy of millions of pilgrims over the years who've been there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, if people walk for so many different reasons, what do you think people get out of it? And I mean, I suppose it's fair to say that on the forum we hear lots of the positive stories. We don't necessarily hear the negative ones because, if there are any.
No. I sometimes I meet people that didn't finish in Santiago in the way that sometimes people have used my luggage storage. They send me things and then they have to stop for whatever reason and then take the bus to Santiago and come and pick it up. And I don't think I've ever talked to someone that had to break it off and they told me that they stopped because they didn't like it.
Really?
But I think there are a few people like that, but they just don't want to say it. They may be embarrassed that they have to stop or whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So the people that, I don't know. I think there's a lot. There might be more people that break off the Camino and stop walking that we actually know, because if you do it, you probably don't want to publicize it too much. Maybe you feel like it's
people feel like maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met quite a few people who dropped out through injury. I think that's very common. And funnily enough, it tends on the Camino Frances, it tends to happen around Burgos, where people have been walking for 10 or 12 days quite hard. And you'll sort of bump into people that you've met and, we've got to go home. Why? Damage my ankles, damage my shins.
Yeah.
I feel sad for those people.
Yeah. No, but I think it's the people that finish. I think they're very happy. And sometimes the typical answer I hear, that how do you feel? What are your feelings now when you arrive in Santiago? Is like, I'm happy and sad at the same time.
Yeah, I get that.
You're happy because you finish, and then you're sad because it's over. And then sometimes you hear, "Oh, I'm happy I finished," and I'm happy it's over because this is too hard. I'm not going to do this again.
I'm hurting.
Yeah. And then the people that are saying that I'm not going to do this again, I'll see them the next year because they come back, because they go home, they get well, they miss it, and then they come back.
Yeah, I get that, and I mean, I learned so much on your forum prior to my first Camino, and so I was ready for the fact that when I got to Santiago, I might feel a bit disappointed and a bit sad. So I sort of made sure that I really enjoyed every minute of the journey. And indeed, I think a lot of people, they come into the square and it's kind of, oh no, that's my life had become, walk, eat, sleep for so long. Yeah, now it's finished. And there's that sense of loss almost. And
yes, and I talk to people that say, well, usually, I wake up, I walk, you eat and enjoy the local food, and then you sleep and you wake up and you walk again, and then you arrive in Santiago and they're not walking. It feels strange, they say, because I should be walking now, but I'm not.
Yeah, it's become a habit. It's become a routine.
Yeah.
But then, like you say, so many come back and do it again. I've never seen actually any statistics on that. I wonder if any exist. How many people walk it again?
I don't think so. Statistics related to the Camino, there's not a lot, because the ones that have any numbers is the Pilgrims office, and I don't think they keep track of who's coming back. No.
But I mean, just having spent 5 years on your forum and got to know a lot of the people there. I mean, there's a lot of repeat offenders, isn't there?
That is true.
On their profiles, they have how many times they've walked.
Yes.
We should say, if you're watching this and you haven't been onto Ivar's forum, we'll put the link below. If you're interested in the Camino, you need to be on there. It's a fantastic community.
Thank you. No, I think because I realize this now, especially now in these virus times, it's because usually in the spring on the forum, we get two types of crowds. We have the crowd that has walked it before, they're planning another one. And then you have the crowd that they've never walked it before and they're just planning the first one. Yeah. And you could see now we only have the first crowd. The crowd that have walked it before and then planning another one. They are on the forum right now.
Yeah, they're desperate to come back. Yeah.
The new ones that haven't walked it before, they're not there. So I could see it's more or less half and half. In the spring, you have half of brand new people asking questions and half of people that have walked it before planning another one.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? What we sometimes don't know what draws people to the Camino, but I think there's a huge majority get so much out of it.
That is true. That is true. That's why they come back, which is that's why I kept going with the forum since 2004, because I knew in the beginning it was very small, but then I saw the faces on the people that walked into the square in the mornings, and I could see everyone was so happy and so happy for having walked it, that I thought this is going to get big. In 2004, it wasn't that many people walking, but this is going to get very popular, because they're going to go home and they're going to tell 10 people, and they're going to, it's going to be more bigger crowds coming. That's why I kind of kept going, and it became my job running the forum.
And without wishing to embarrass you, Ivar, you provide a fantastic community service, I think, to those who are planning to walk the Camino and actually walk the Camino. And in fact, I mean, this is your livelihood. You devote your life to this, so, and it really shows. It really shows through the forum.
Thank you. I try.
So, well, thank you for joining us this week. It's great to talk to you again and hear your thoughts from so many pilgrims who are part of your community.
Thank you, Rob.
We'll put that link down below for that community if anyone's not a member of it. Great to see you again, Ivar.
Thank you, Rob.